Okay, welcome everyone and good morning to all. And thank you for joining today's webinar session. Myself, Professor Nilesh Jangade, I am hosting the today's webinar session. I welcome today's speaker, Dr. Santosh Gesge sir, Associate Professor Ashokram Mani College of Pharmacy, Petwadaga. I also welcome the faculty members and dear student. So, look into the current lockdown situation. Our Anna Sahib Dange College of Pharmacy have organized the series of webinar sessions. Into that, around 44 speakers from the different area are going to guide our students. Now, I think we have crossed this halfway journey of this webinar series, and the response is huge for our webinar series. Now, today's session is from Dr. Santosh Gesge sir. His topic is the practical aspects of micromeritics in a drug delivery system. So I request Professor Pankaj Jadhav sir to please introduce today's speaker. Jadhav sir.
Okay, sir.
One minute. I will share the screen. Is it visible, sir?
Yes. Okay, today's speaker is Dr. Santosh Gesge. He has completed B Pharmacy from Solapur University and post-graduation PG. He has completed post-graduation from ICT Mumbai. He has completed PG diploma in patents law from Nalsar, Hyderabad. Also completed PG diploma in chemical tech management from ICT Mumbai. He has completed PhD in technology pharmaceutics from ICT Mumbai. Currently, he is working as an associate professor in pharmaceutics at Ashok Mane College of Pharmacy, Petwadaga. He had industrial consultations with Muscat Universal Private Limited, Scope Ingredients Private Limited, Kerry Ingredients Private Limited, Getforce VVF Limited, Bajaj Healthcare Limited, Connell Brother Limited, SCG Pharma Technologies Private Limited, Cheryl Laboratories Private Limited, Novetra Laboratories Private Limited. He has received Junior Research Fellowship from Master's degree from AICT New Delhi and Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for PhD degree from University Grants Commission. He has received total rupees 32 lakh grant during PhD tenure from ICT Mumbai. He has applied 2 patents and there are several publications to his credit. So I request Dr. Santosh Gesge to start the session.
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj sir, and thanks the respected principal R.B. Jadhav sir and the today's host Mr. Nilesh Jangade sir and my friend Rajesh Jagtap sir for inviting me to share my session, sharing the knowledge to the second year B.Pharm students particularly. In fact, the particular topic that I've chosen, microbiologics, particularly, instead of speaking on general, the what is the career aspects and all that stuff, because I think today's lockdown, there is so many sessions that has been delivered by various speakers. So everyone knows the career opportunities and all that stuff. But why during the pharmacy profession, we should thorough with the current and the topic knowledge of particular subjects, right? So I thought the microanalytics, which is a very important subject that has to be studied in deeply manner. So I'll share my PPT, why there is the importance of particular sharing the particular microanalytics. Nilesh sir, can you just
yes, sir. I
allow
given
me
the
to
access to
share?
you. I given access to you.
Yeah, just Yeah. So everyone can see my PPTs?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just hold on. So today we'll see some of the practical aspects of the microminetics particular subject, right, in drug delivery systems particularly. So this is the short biodata presented by Dr. Pankaj Yadav sir. So if you can see the syllabus of the fourth semester of the as per the PCI syllabus, correct? So there's a unit number 4, which is called as microminetics particular subject. If you see the particular subpoints of this particular topic, we can see the particle size and the distribution, the mean particle size, number, weight distributions, then particle number, methods of determining particle size by various methods such as counting and separation techniques, particle shapes, then very important, that is surface area, methods of determining surface area, correct? Then particle shape, specific surface area, permeability, then adsorption, derived properties of powders such as porosity, packing arrangement, different densities, it may be bulk density, tap density, correct? Bulkiness and the various properties. So all these the sub points that has been mentioned in your particular topic number 4, that is microminetics, which has very huge relevance at designing the new drug delivery systems and at the industry level while working on the plant scale. So let's take an example of the particular routine particular sugars, correct? We all know there are the 3 types of sugars in our house, correct? We have table sugar, which we use to make the particular tea, correct? Then we have meal sugars, correct? Diwali, we make the particular sweets, correct, by using the meal sugars, correct? Then we have large sugar particles that we called as khadi sakar in Marathi language, correct? Whenever we go to a temple, particularly, so as a blessings, we get the khadi sakar, correct? So if you can see closely, the particular 3 sugar particularly, they have different sizes, correct? So this particular, so this is the particular normal sugar we have at our house, correct? And then we have this meal sugar, in Marathi we call it pitti sakar, correct? Then sugar cubes that will find you in hotels particularly, and that is khadi sakar. So can you imagine what will be the effect of solubility when we add the particular sugar, 3 types of sugars inside the water? Which one will go in fastest way inside the water? Can you just tell me? So if you can see the sequence of dissolution or going inside the liquid, the particularly the milk sugar, which is the number 1, followed by the table sugar, and then the finally last sugar particle like khadi sakar. Because the lesser will be the particle size, the higher will be the rate of dissolution that going into the particular water. So if you see the roles of the particular, I just close down this, take this to. So if you see the role of the particle size in pharmaceutical industry particularly, so we all know the particle size, which is very fundamental physical characteristics of the particular drug or excipient, correct? So it must be selected, monitored, and controlled from the raw material source to the finished product particularly. So we know there are different types of particle sizes. The particle may be in the form of sphere, it may be in the form of cubicle, it may be in the form of needle-shaped crystals. You can see the needle-shaped crystals particularly. So in case of this is in case of solid particles, but in case of the liquid particles, like emulsions, right? We have globule size, correct? So it might be a small particles, irregular shape. It might be your cubicle, or it might be your some spherical particles, correct? So these are the various types of the particles that we can found inside the API or the excipients particularly. So these particles can be defined by a size shape, correct? It might be length, it might be breadth, or it might be height particularly. So in case of liquid, we can either measure the volume in the liters particularly, correct? And also we have to determine the surface area that can be given in centimeter square properties, and can be either made up of solid substance or particularly a liquid substance. So the particle size is the term which mostly used for denoting the dimensions of the solid, liquid, or gaseous bubbles, particularly in case of the aerosol or topical products, particularly, or as simply medicated sprays, particularly. We have release spray, we have the move spray, right? Then other particles. So the physical properties of APIs and excipients, they largely depend on the particle size, particularly. So you can see some of the operations that is going on the industry scale, that is the mixing, granulation, drying, milling, blending, encapsulation, or compression. They largely depends on the particle size of the input materials. What are the input materials? Input materials may be your API or excipients, correct? We mix together, okay? We mix together and we either compress to form a tablet, or the mix particular blend that can be filled inside the capsules, correct? So they all largely depends on the particle size. So these particle size and all these properties, they have direct correlation of the parameters, correct? So there is correlation between the bulk properties of API and bulk properties of the excipients, correct? They also governs the product performance, processability, stability, and appearance of the end product when it comes to pharmaceutical formulation and manufacturing, correct? Let's take an example of any calamine lotion, correct? We have itchy skin and doctor will prescribe you particularly an calamine lotion. So if you see particular calamine lotion, when we apply to the topical skin, so you expect that the particular lotion which consists of the calamine, it should be a smooth particular product, so that can be easily applied to your skin. And if you can see, suppose particularly product which is having a large calamine particles, the abrasive nature, a particular product that can hamper the product appearance particularly. So all these particular parameters, they have direct correlation with the all the 5 properties, like bulk properties, product performance, processability, stability, and appearance. In the next coming slides, we'll see how they are directly correlated while designing the particular drug delivery systems. So if you see the USP particularly, in USP, there are standards of particle size. We all know that the particles can be defined or classified in various ways, such as we have very fine particles that can be in the range of 90 to 125 microns. Then we have fine particles from 125 to 180 microns. Then we have moderately coarse particles that's in between the 180 to 325 microns. Then we have coarse particles that is in the range of 355 to 1000 micrometers. And then we have the coarse, that is the more than 1000 micrometers particularly. So this classification is generally used at industry scale particularly to classify the input materials that is received at the stores particularly. And how the particle size is very, very important while designing the various drug delivery systems, correct? So this is an inorganic material. You can take an example of the calamine lotion, or let's take an example of the talc, correct? While designing the various drug delivery systems with respect to lymphatic targeting, gene delivery, correct, and aerosol, you can see the mist that has been sprayed on the particular skin particularly, correct? Then we have an intraperitoneal drug delivery system. Then we have oral granules, correct? And recently, I think you might have seen some of the homeopathic doctors prescribing particularly arsenic album particularly. So they are basically pills on which the particular arsenic liquid, that is mother tincture, that has been sprayed inside the sugar pills and that has been given as granules particularly. Then while designing the particular drug system to targeting the brain or tumor, that has to be taken care at a nanoscale particularly. Then we have IV or intramuscular. Correct. Then we have a nasal, example of Otrivin, nasal spray, then an oral depot, and a transdermal drug delivery systems and ocular. So let's take an example of an ocular drug systems. Suppose we have to instill some of the ophthalmic suspensions. If you have the particle size more than 50 micrometer, that will cause an irritation inside the eye. So IP recommends the D90, the diameter of 90% of the particle, that is the maximum diameter that is allowed inside the ophthalmic suspension, that should be less than 10 micron. So for the better patient compliance, yes, maximum we can accommodate up to 50 micrometer, but IP recommends that it should be less than 10 micron. So if you see the particular effects of particle size, we all know the effect of particle size on dissolution, correct? In the second slide, we have seen the example of sugar, 3 forms of sugar, correct? So we know the smaller the particle, that have the larger the surface area than the large particles. So we can understand, so the small particles, though they have very, very small particle size, but they are high on the surface area. So large amount of water can be in contact with the particular small particles. So they can easily go inside the solution state. So the larger the solution state and going inside the water, so the higher will be the dissolution. That is the amount of that drug particularly coming inside the blood across the biological membranes particularly. So current industry scenario, if you can see, I think you have in next semester the BCS classification system, particularly biological class, biopharmaceutical classification system, particularly. So the most of the drugs that are defined based on their water solubility and lipid solubility, particularly. So whatever the available drug molecule across the world, so almost an 80% of the drug molecule that belongs to BCS class 2, biopharmaceutical classification. Means what it means. So all these drug molecules have an issue of poor solubility. Okay, means they have very poor solubility inside the water, but they have the high permeability. Means we know the whatever the structure of our biological skin and across the stomach, correct? So we take a water after the meal or for the taking the medicines. So it is a mandatory requirement that particular tablet that has to be dissolved inside the 0.2 molar hydrochloric acid, correct? Which is our stomach fluid particularly. So after dissolving the particular drug molecule inside the stomach fluid, that has to cross the particular biological membrane, correct? So this biological membrane, which is made of lipid components particularly, correct? So that's why two different concepts, water solubility and lipid permeability. So if we can improve the water solubility, it can easily pass the biological membranes since it is having a high permeability. So as I said, 80% of the drug molecules, they belongs to BCS class 2. So there is a need to improve the water solubility of the particular drug molecules. So there are n numbers of techniques to improve the water solubility of the drug molecules. But if you can see the industry point of view particularly, industry prefers the first approach, that is micronize the particular large size API particularly. So which is a single step ingredient for problem of dissolution, correct? So that's why in the second slide, I will give an example of the sugar particularly. So when I reduce the particular size of the drug molecule from 1,000 micron to, let's say, to 50 micron, from 1,000 to 50, so we have reduced to almost 20 times the size of the drug molecules. So if you can consider that particular 1 micron, so 1,000 micron is a one particle, so that has been crushed down to 20 particles. So that 20 particles have the higher surface area. So the time to get inside the particular water system particularly is much higher, much lesser, I'll say. So that can automatically resolve the issue of dissolution. So when I was in Ajanta, particularly working, actually, I'm missing. So this particular molecule, I was working with a company. So this particular tacrolimus molecule, so which is having the immuno regulating molecule, particularly immuno. So this particular molecule is having a dose of around 0.5 mg and 1 mg particular in dosage particularly. So this particular tacrolimus is belong to BCS class 2 molecule. So we are also facing the issue of the dissolution of the particular drug molecule. So we have just sought the help from the vendor, and we have procured the micronized form of this tacrolimus, and the whatever the D90, the tacrolimus, the micronized form, which is having the almost an 80% of the drug dissolution within the 45 minutes of the time period. And also this luliconazole, which is a topical drug molecule used for the fungal infections particularly. This particularly molecule also having issue of the lipid permeability. So the innovator particularly, this is a Japanese molecule. A Japanese company Takeda has discovered this particular drug molecule. Now it is available in the also in the Indian context particularly. But the particular drug molecule having the issue of the lipid solubility. So whenever you apply on your skin, particularly, it faces the issue of the permeation across the stratum corneum, particularly. So innovator has added some of the drug molecule, some of the excipients such as medium chain triglycerides, isopropyl myristates particularly. So which can help the drug molecule to permeate across the stratum corneum layer particularly. So while developing this drug molecule for the my previous company, that is Novitra Lab Private Limited particularly. So we have added some of the lecithins which are particularly found in the soybeans particularly. So this lecithins which helps the permeation of the drug molecule, and in fact we have done some of the permeation study called as in vitro diffusion study, and the micronized form of this luliconazole which helps the drug to cross across the biological membrane. And in fact we found that almost and 3 times higher the permeation rate as compared to the other marketed formulations. So just taking the reduced particle size, advantage of reduced particle size, that can help to solve the problem of dissolutions. And also this is also an antihypertensive molecule, prasugrel, which I have worked with Ajanta Pharmaceuticals. So this is the dose is around 5 mg, 10 mg, and 20 mg. So particularly this prasugrel is also having issue of BCS problem of the poor solubility inside the water. So just using the micronized API, so you can resolve the particularly problem. So it should be understandable that it is a simple concept by reducing the particle size, but it is the most critical step parameter in pre-formulation and at the manufacturing step. So we know the reduction of particle size that impacts directly on the bioavailability of the particular drug molecules. So regulatory bodies, that the FDA is particularly, correct. So they are more concerned about the particle size specifications of the APIs and the various excipients particularly. Correct. We have just seen the story of tacrolimus and luliconazole. If you can see some of the market products, so you are in just second year of BPharm, correct? So I'll tell you one of the good advice to you whenever you go inside the medical shops, particularly. So as a pharmacist, make a habit of seeing the products that are available in the medical shops. May your friends or your family or your relatives having the medical shops go sit and see the products in the medical shops, correct. So which will help to correlate whatever you are studying in your particularly BPharm, that will understand, that is whatever will learning that is actually working on the fields particularly. If you'll see some of the examples, this is the progesterone particularly. They are just putting the micronized form of progesterone in subgel capsules particularly. Correct. So it is also available in the micronized progesterone injection particularly. Correct. So also this progesterone is also belongs to BCS class 2 drug molecule. So this tacrolimus, this is an ophthalmic ointment. So the dose is around 0.03. So this particularly tacrolimus, the D90, 90% of the drug molecules, that is around in the range of 5 to 8 microns. This is a skin whitening cream. This is an particularly an cosmetic product But if you can see the azelaic acid, particular 10%. So this azelaic acid having the issue of the permeation particularly. So originally the particle size of the azelaic acid, that is, are between 250 to 300 microns. So it was reduced down to between 20 to 40 microns. So now the effects of the skin whitening is much higher with respect to azelaic acid particularly. In the protein supplements, if you can see, if you can go inside the shops or some of the supplement shops, you can also see this creatine, which is supports the muscle building. Correct. So this creatinine, since it's a large, particularly amino acid, which is having an issue of the permeation. Correct. So while production or the production at the large scale of the creatinine monohydrate, which is having the particle sizes between the 800 to 1000 micron. So they are taking advantage of the micronation technique. So they are reduced down the particle size to between 100 to 150 micron. So in the particularly shops, you can find this particularly micronized form of this creatinine. So which will helps to improve the muscle power and energy consumption and boost the strength. So suppose if you're taking 1 spoon per day for improving your muscle strength, out of the 1 spoon, suppose the half of the quantity is getting excreted from your body. So then what is the use of the taking the 1 full spoon of the creatine? So giving the full advantage of an absorbable creatinine that will helps to build your muscles. So these are some of the claims that are claiming by the nutraceutical companies particularly. At an industry scale, if you can see the effect of particle size on the manufacturing and processing parameters. So did you know this percolation effect during compression of tablets and filling of the capsules? So we have a smaller particles, we have a bigger particles, correct? So when you place this inside the hopper, what happens? The small particles that tend to settle down at the bottom, correct? And the large particles, though they have the larger surface area and bigger particle size, they will go towards the upward size particularly. And whatever the void spaces they are available, so they can fill inside between the void spaces. So what happens? These small particles, they will firstly come inside the particular punches, correct? Die cavity. So there is a non-uniform distribution of the particles, correct? Due to the differences between the particle sizes particularly. So it's very, very important to have a perfect blend of the uniform particle size. It's not always advisable that you should have a particles 100% particles of the range of 300 to 400 microns, but there should be a proper blend of the small, medium and large particle size that will govern the various particular compression and physiochemical properties particularly. So this blend, what I'm saying, that is uniform blend, that is having a unique properties between the tablet hardness, also that governs the drug content, and most importantly the flow, correct? Whenever I put this particular blend inside the hopper, that will directly affect the flow. And if I put the large particles, obviously disintegration time is much higher. If I put in the small particles, I have much lesser disintegration time. But if I make the blend of the small and large and medium particles, I'll have the desired disintegration time particularly. So there's another concept we call as particle size distribution. Then how we will get idea how the particles are going to be distributed particularly. So the particles that has to be in the range, correct, on the basis of their mass or volume of the particles, correct. So this is the particular graph. We get it by determining the particular particle sizes, correct. That's why it's called as distribution particular. This is the example. This is between 100 to 400 micron. So what I'll say, so almost 90% of the particles of the size 2.3 microns are in the range of 100 to 400. So if you clearly see, that is around 280. Correct? Sorry, 200. This is around 200. 200 micron. So the particle size distribution, there are three concepts. D90, that is the diameter of 90% of the particle, diameter of the 50% of the particle, and a diameter of 10% of the particle. So basically the diameter of 90% particle, that will govern the flow of the particular API and the particular excipients particular. So pharmaceutical point of view, it is vital to define the stability, aesthetic appearance, the rate of absorption, bioavailability of the particular drugs. So regulatory agencies, that is FDAs of the different countries, they give special emphasis to clearly establishing the particle distribution of excipient as well as the pharmaceutical formulations. So I'll give you one of the example of this luliconazole. So in the previous slide, I told you that the original innovator, that is the Japanese company, has used the IPM, isopropyl myristate, and medium chain triglycerides. So this is the particular COA of luliconazole. You will see from the parameters of the direct line description, solubility, identification by IR and FNC. So FDA wants the particle size that has to be less than, not more than 20 micron. That should be less than 20 micron. So a D90, 8.78 micron. That means the companies are selling the micronized form of the luliconazole. I'll give an example. This the price difference of this unmicronized and micronized form. This luliconazole, when you take out the unmicronized form, that is the D90, that will be in between 200 to 250 micron. The price of the unmicronized luliconazole is simply 25,000 rupees per kg. But when you micronize, the price that goes around 1.5 lakhs per kg, because from 250 micron, the company has reduced down the particle size to 9 micron approximately. But for reducing the particle size and getting the approximate D90, the production steps and the energy that we have consumed and different techniques that we have used for getting the particular sufficient particle size. That's why the price from 25,000 kg that has gone to 1.5 lakhs per kg. So that is the value of micronized form, because just simply using the micronized form, you can resolve the issue of permeation, or also in case of oral form, we can call it the dissolution. So there are various techniques for determining the particle distribution. I think we'll just see some of the names, because it's not our today's concern, but I just want to highlight some of the techniques. Like we have acoustic spectroscopy, correct? We have cubical and spherical particles for the measurement of macromolecules, correct? Then we have chord length measurements. Then we have disk centrifuge. We have dynamic image analysis. Then we have elliptically polarized light scattering. Then we have electrical sensing zones. Then we have hydrodynamic chromatography. Then we have laser diffractions. Then we have light absorptions. That is for the injectable preparations and process water supplies particularly, correct? So this particular techniques that can be measure the particularly weight form, and some of the measure the dry form also, correct? So we have to make a slurry, and that slurry has to be put inside the instrument for the visual appearance of the particular drug molecules. Then we have photon correlation spectroscopy, correct? Then some of the techniques like polarization intensity diffraction scatterings, which measures the size between 0.004 micron to 0.4 microns particularly, for sizing of the non-spherical submicroparticles. Then we have simplest, that is the size analysis that we use at the laboratory scale, from 5 micron to 10,000 micron particularly, both wet and dry, and fertilizer, cement industry, and also at the pharmaceutical solid dosage form industry particularly. We can see some of the shapes of the particular particles with the help of scanning electron microscopy. That is in between the size of 0.01 to 5 micron particularly. You can measure the weight and dry form of the particular particles. Micromagnetics, basically particle size. And we have also the static image analysis, where you can measure the size in the range of 1 to 10,000 micrometer. And also for the histopathological studies. The most important, which is the sieve analysis. That is the simplest analytical tool from the industry perspective at the manufacturing level. Correct. So let's take an example of a tablet manufacturing step. We have a weight granulation. We weighed all the API excipients. Then we added some of the binding agents. We made the dough, and that dough has to be passed from particular sieve to get the particular weight granules, and that weight granules is then keep it for drying, correct? And that dried granules again, they have passed from particular sieve to get the sufficient particle size, and to this some of the disintegrating agent, lubricant, and flow aid, some of the agents like eosin that has been added, and this blend that has been put it inside the hopper for making the particular tablets, correct? So all these basic unit steps of manufacturing, so they are generated with the help of a simple tool, that is the sieves that we are available at our end particularly, correct? So we know you have seen some of the sieves in your laboratory, correct? We have a sieve number 4, we have sieve number 18, we have sieve number 30, we have sieve number 40, sieve number 80. So when you go upward towards the higher number of sieves, that can give you the lesser number of particle size. So at an industry scale, for ideally making the blend of tablet particularly, so the final blend that is ready to compress, it has to be particle size in between the 420 to 590 micron particularly for the wet granulation technique. But in case of the direct compression technique, it has to be passed from 60 to 70. So it should be ideally between 200 to 300 microparticle size. So that is the simplest way to identify the particle size distribution of the blend. So that will directly impact the drug delivery system particularly. So we have just seen one example of the wet granulation. So this wet granulation, which is solid dosage formulation, is mostly used for physical, mechanical, and chemical processes. So dry granulation, we just weighed all this stuff, that excipient, drug, correct, and the lubricating agent, disintegrating agent. We have just made, and we have added a dry binder, and we have just mixed it, and we have passed it from the roller compactor to get some of the slug, and that slug has been crushed down to get the sufficient particle size, and that particular blend is just used for the compression particularly. Wet granulation we have seen, and in case of the direct compression, I just said that particle size is between the 100 to 200, but ideally it should be between 2 up to 300 that can be accepted. So that are required for compaction behavior and blend flow properties particularly. But in case of the disintegrating tablet or the chewable tablet, like we have Disprin, correct? So you require an fast dispersible tablet, so that where the particles are in the range of between 20 to 50 microns for the optimum fast release tablets. In case of an immediate release tablets particularly, so we have studied the BCS class 2, correct? We have issue of particularly water solubility. So this water solubility can be having an issue with respect to immediate release tablets. You have headache, your head is getting pain, and you have taken the Disprin, correct? Or you have taken a Saridon, correct? So you are expecting that in next 30 minutes or next particularly 1 hour, you should have that particular pain has to be gone, correct? So what is expected, that until and unless the drug that has to be get inside the biological system, it should not show some of the pharmacological effect, correct? So what is the official requirement of the pharmacopoeia? In case of the immediate release tablet, the dissolution means the amount of drug that getting inside the biological system means suppose the dose. So the discipline says suppose 350 mg of aspirin, correct? So the 350 mg of aspirin, out of the 350 mg of aspirin, 75% of the aspirin that has to be released in the 0.1 molar HCl within the 45 minutes. It's a critical step, correct? The drug that belongs to BCS class 2 having issue of water solubility. So what is the solution? We have just studied, that is micronized API will be the more feasible option to pass this test. Until and unless you pass the dissolution test for the immediate release tablets, it should not be pass the quality control test. Okay. So I'll give you an example of the marketed one of the formulation. This is the particular tablet called a Daphlon 500 mg, which is manufactured by Ceridia Pharma. So this company has done a clinical study particularly. So this is Daphlon, which contains the some of the flavonoids particularly, which is the purified flavonoid fraction, which is enriched with 25 NCI, diosmin particularly. So it's an antioxidant preparation particularly. So they have studied the non-micronized and micronized formulation particularly. Correct? This is some of the other excipients such as gelatin, magnesium stearate, MCC, sodium starch glycolate, talcum. So if you can see some of the mean particle size of the blend, that is around the non-micronized form of the blend, which is having 36.5 micrometer of the size, and the micronized form, which is having the 1.71 micrometer particularly. And this blend has been filled inside the capsule particularly. So if you can see some of the drug, that is this diosmin that has been excreted from the urine. So this micronized form that is retained up to the 70 to 160 hours. And the particularly non-micronized form, so the lower bar graph, that means the particular content that is they can easily pass out from the body. So the higher the lesser the particle size of the flavonoid content, they can retain inside the body. So this particularly flavonoid, they will attach to particular protein component of the blood, and they can show the some of the pharmacological actions particularly. So this particularly action that has been happened due to the low size of the particular active, that is the diosmin. Okay, so in the last 2 years back, this particular product, I think I was just wandering inside the Sangli city, and I just went to the Dr. Sanjay Kulkarni sir. He's a famous vascular surgeon. So he told me this story, and I think in fact while preparing the particular slide, I just remember this story of this diosmin. So I thought this is the real life example of how companies are taking advantage of the reduction of the particle size. So we will summarize the whatever the points that we have studied particularly. The significance of microbretics, correct? We have content uniformity. What is the problem? Larger particles create content uniformity, issue of the low dose drug. So solution, choose the proper particle size selection particularly. We have issue of flow, particles having needle or latch shape particles. So basically what we have to study, we have to take a spherical size particles that can improve the particular flowability. Then we have a particle arrangement that is having creating issue with the closer packing arrangement. So we have to either narrowing down the particle size distribution. In case of compaction, sometimes we get a stronger tablets, correct? So solution, increase the particle size particularly. Then we are facing an issue of weight variation due to the smaller particles or improper filling inside the dye cavity particularly. So solution will be the increase the particle size. Then in case of the tablet hardness, we will get a hard tablet particularly. Another solution, that is increase the particle size. You can see the three problems, that is compaction, weight variation, tablet hardness. They can simply solve it out by increasing the particle size particularly. Then We have compressibility, where we have problem of failure to compress due to the enlargement of particles. So in case of this compressibility issue, we can decrease the particle size. Correct. And these are some of the other issues, but I would highlight some of the issues like friability. Correct, which is an important test. Like all the tablets should have the less than 1% friability. Correct. So this particular problem, that is the smaller particles which cause the chances of higher friability. So simply we can increase the particle size of the API or granules particularly. And in case of disintegration and dissolution rate, smaller particle reduces disintegration rate because of the harder tablet and increase the dissolution rate. So we need to select a proper size of the API and excipients particularly. Right. So I will tell you one of the biggest success story in the Indian pharmaceutical industry, particularly that the topic why we have chosen, that is the microminetics particularly. So you might aware of this company. I think your teachers might aware of the Granules India company. So this is an Hyderabad-based company, Granules India, but the company is selling the particularly D2H granules, direct, sorry, drum to hopper granules. Correct. So we all, with the previous slide, we understood that powder flow properties is largely dependent on particle size and particle shape of the materials. Correct. Some of the APIs which is having the issue of poor flow, poor compressibility, correct, and poor disintegration time. So by taking advantage of three problems, poor compressibility, poor flow, and poor disintegration rate. So this metformin, which is the standard therapy to track in the every diabetic patient particularly, and ibuprofen, which is the OTC drug molecule, which also belongs to BCS class 2 molecules. So I'll tell you the consumption of ibuprofen worldwide. It is 10,000 million metric ton, which is the requirement of the world. So this particular drug molecule having the issue of the three problems, which I have enlisted one particular. So what the company has done, the company has done the just a granulation with the help of fluid bed processor. So they have installed almost an 1000 kg capacity fluid bed processor, and with the help of some of the binding agents, it might be PVP, it might be your HPMC, E5U. Okay, so this particularly metformin ibuprofen, so they are taking the API and they are just putting some of the binding agents and they are making a directly compressible granules. You can see this white bag. So this particular white bag is come with the 750 mg capacity. So what we have to do, so the company is selling directly compressible granules to all over the world. So you don't require the unit operations such as weighing, granulation, correct, drying step. So you require only two steps: the compression, coating, and packaging particularly, correct. So you have to just take it the granules from this particular bag, and we have to just put it inside your hopper. That's why they call it as drum to hopper technology particularly. You you just compress and sell it into market. So just taking advantage of these three properties, the company currently, which is having a turnover of annual 2,500 crore, which is the largest granule making company. So why the company is benefiting? Because reduces vendor development cost. Correct? Development cost, since they need to deal with only one vendor for various materials, which is required for manufacturing pharmaceutical formulation intermediate, the called particular, which simplifies the supply chain management. You don't rely on the various unit operations. Since the quality of the granules is much much higher. So that lowers the testing costs particularly, which also saves the some of the technical resources, which reduces the capital expenditure, since you have reduced down the operations from 7 numbers to just 3 numbers. 4 operations you have reduced down. So you have to just compress, putting in granules inside the hopper, coating, and finally packaging. Correct? And since the amount of binder that has been added inside the particular granules, which can control the particularly desired drug release. Correct? And basically a dry blending with other APIs. You can also do dry blending. So if you can see some of the portfolio the company is selling, we know this paracetamol. So the company is selling under the branding Compresso PAP 97S. That means concentration of the granules between 97%. So the remaining 3%, you can imagine that will be the coating agent or some of the bulking agent. Correct? So from 83% to 97%. So this is the sum of the products in the range of particular concentration they're selling into market. So you have to adjust the dose. Suppose you have to making the paracetamol of 100 mg, you have to adjust the dose and just make it the compressible tablet and sell it to the market. Ibuprofen from 66% concentration to 90% concentration. Correct? Metformin, which is the biggest player, which is having the big issue of the compressibility, because most companies facing the issue, because this product is having a large high volume product, margin is also less, but since it's a life-saving molecule and which is very important in the prescription of the doctor, so you require the high compressibility. So almost 60% of the revenue of the company, that is out of the 2,500 crores, the company 60% they have been getting from metformin and ibuprofen particularly. Also the issues of the compressibility find with the ciprofloxacin, gemprozil, and also metocarbamol. So if you can take some of the example of this drug molecule, you can simply improve the compressibility and make it the proper granules that will solve the problem of poor flow, compressibility, and disintegration. So particle size distribution both profoundly affect the particle arrangement and compaction. Smaller particles enter into the voids between the large particles and form the closed packing arrangement. So we know the smaller particles form a stronger tablets than the larger particles, because the smaller particles have larger available surface area than the larger ones to form the bond formation. We also know that this differences in the particle size that also affects the weight variations. But there are so many other factors that are responsible, such as broad particle size distribution, poor flow ability, compressibility of the powder or the granules, and in sometimes improper mixing of the glycine into the granulation, non-uniform, non-clean lower punches of the tablet press. Okay, so we have taken some of the examples of the drug that can be converted into the direct compressible granules. So I'll tell you one of the example of the excipient, because excipients also governs the flow and compressibility issue. So while I was in masters particularly, and I was in second year M.Pharm particularly, so there's a one company called as Scope Ingredients Private Limited particularly. So this company is they want to develop the directly compressible grade mannitol. So you might have seen in the laboratory, in the pharmaceutics laboratory, the mannitol that is used for the as a sweetening agent and bulking agent for the fast dispersible tablets and chewable tablets particularly. So this mannitol that comes into the 3 polymorphic forms particularly. It's a beta form, alpha form, delta form, and there's another form that is which is in the lower concentration, which is the gamma form particularly. So this alpha form particularly, which is the most primary form of this mannitol, that is the initial form of the mannitol, which is having the particular needle-shaped crystals particularly. So this, you can see the needle-shaped crystals, which is having the issue of the friability. It's like an having issue of, it's when you put it inside your fingers, in just putting a small pressure, it's like an particularly powder form, particular. It's like in piti sakar, particular. So the particularly company, they are interested to develop this alpha form inside the beta form particularly. So if you can see some of the X-ray diffraction data, so this particularly delta form, alpha and beta form, they are having the different intensities when you do some of the crystallization studies. So why the company is interested to develop some of the directly compressible, because there is a French company, but now operating from the US particularly. So this company is selling a product called as Perlitol 200, which is the brand name of directly compressible grade mannitol. So in the previous slide, I've shown you the alpha form particularly, correct? So it's a needle shaped crystals having the poor compressibility, poor flow, fluffy in the nature. So this company, Racket Fairs, they selling the particular product called as directly compressible grade mannitol inside the market with 3 different particle size. They have particle size that is D90 around 100, D90 around 300, and D90 around 200. So this 200, which is the most selling product inside the market. So out of the total mannitol market, so they are having the share of around 70%. Why 70%? Because the technology that they have developed for getting the directly compressible form, which is they are using by using the spray drying particle. This alpha form, which is having issue of poor compressibility. So they are adding some of the agents such as maltodextrin, which is used as a binding agent for getting the alpha form, that is these small particles together and to form the globular or spherical shaped crystals particularly. And this technology has been used spray drying for development of directly compressible grade mannitol. So with the help of the, we have also cracked down the particular patent, and we have also cracked down the particular technology, and we have also done some of the trials with the spray drying and also the fluid bed granulation. So with fluid bed granulation, we have to put the material inside the particular chamber, and we have to spray some of the granulating agents. So this particular technology that we have made it, and we have scaled it down to around 1000 kg for Scope Ingredients Private Limited. And in fact, in our the product, it's not an only beta form, but it's a mixture of beta and delta form. So the company Scope Ingredients, they are currently selling the particular product that is in the size range of between 200 to 250 microns. Since this 200 particle size of the beta form is patented by the company Racket Phrase, and so that's why we have to shift it down to the next particle size range, that is 200 to 250 micron. So we have not patented it, since the size is already claimed by company Racket Phrase, and it's already known that if you can get it down the particular conversion of alpha form to beta form, you will get the spherical particles, which is in the range of 200 particle size, that is, which is the most ideal one for making the directly compressible grade tablets. So this is the best example. You can understand how the micrometrics or the particle size, particle shape, that is governing the pharmaceutical industry particularly while developing the particular drug delivery systems. And there's another example of the drug called as fenofibrate. So if you can see the difference between the two forms. So this is the 200 mg strength, that is a fenofibrate, which is a lipid lowering agent, and we have the 160 mg, correct? So this is also telling us that this fenofibrate is a micronized form, correct? But this particular is not mentioning the any form of the particular particles. Correct? It's simply just telling us fenofibrate tablets 160 mg. So this particular drug molecule, which is a lipid lowering agent, particularly. So this is one of the US molecule, which is the blockbuster molecule in the US, particularly. So the company has filed the patent initially after discovering the particular drug molecule, and initially they have launched the drug molecule in the strength 200 mg, particularly, and they got the patent for 20 years. And when they are supposed to when close down their particular patents, when they are finished to complete the 20 years of the patent, the company has filed another patent of the fenofibrate, which in the range of 160 mg. So the company has filed a patent stating that we don't require the 200 mg of fenofibrate particularly. We require only 160 mg of fenofibrate to show the lipid lowering activity. And what they have done simply a reduction of the particle size. And they have proved in the clinical studies that yes, that 160 mg is sufficient to show the effect, to show the therapeutic response. And that's why the US, they got the patent. Means initially for the 200 mg strength and the novel API, they got a particular patent for 20 years. And next, by reducing the particle size from initially they have a particle size around, uh, if I'm not wrong, it's in between 182 to 220 micron. Now they have reduced down to between 125 micron. So that's why they are saying that 160 mg is sufficient to produce the therapeutic response. So initially they got 20 years of patent life. Then by reducing the particle size, they got another 20 years. That's why it's an evergreening. Evergreening means the first 20 years they got by discovering molecule and filing the patent. In the next, right now they have finished 5 years. The next year, next 15 years, they will also get the monopoly inside the market. That since they got the lesser particle size. That's why that is having the issue of the good efficacy of the drug molecule. So this was the sum of the presentation. Thank you so much. I hope you had a great presentation. Yeah. So with this small, I was tried to understand you why the particle size and micrometrics properties they governs the API and excipient industry particularly, and also the designing the new drug delivery systems at the R&D lab and also at the manufacturing plant. They having the large impact on the production activities. Yeah. Now the mic holds to Nilesh sir.
It was a very informative session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'd like to move into the next part of the session, that is a question and answer. If anyone having the question regarding this current topic, you can ask it. Participants, you can ask the question into the chat box, or you can directly raise your hand. You can ask the questions.
हॅलो हा मॅडम हा बोला की मॅडम
Hello. So if anyone having the question, you can ask this directly. Pankaj Jadhav, sir. Hello. Is it audible?
Hello.
Is it
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Santosh has
Yes, sir.
explained very well regarding micromeritics. He have given very important examples: particle size, flowability of powder. Very well explained session. Phenofibrate. It is one of the blockbuster molecule. Tricor is the brand name
Correct.
for it. So very good examples like mannitol, phenofibrate you have given regarding its flowability. Actually, it is a very important session lecture. You have also prepared PPTs very nicely.
In fact, in
Unfortunately, because of
last year, Pankaj sir, we understand the participants are less, but those who are present, they get the information particularly. In fact, in
very
last year, we
important.
were discussing very important getting material, zinc oxide. I think we have discussed at your uh, home itself. With some of the zinc oxide, this particularly, I'll give you an example, zinc oxide. In my second previous company, I was working with developing some of the physical sunscreens, particularly. Whatever the sunscreen they are available in the market, they are chemical sunscreens, correct? So if you can see the ads, that particularly they contains the octyl methyl cinnamate, then octazinoate particularly. So when you apply the sunscreens, when we get sweating, after 2 hours, that all the layer that has been vanished down, so we have to apply a second layer. So in India, that is a practice that is after 2 hours, you apply the particular sunscreen, particular, correct? So they are basically an carcinogenic agents. In US, if you can see the scenario, the particularly the sunscreens that has to be recommended by dermatologists particularly. So you need a prescription first, because in US there are lots of clinical studies that have been done. So they have proved the chemical sunscreens, whatever we have enlisted some of the actives like OMC, octazinoate. So they will deposit to your skin and they will go up to the third layer of the skin. And while depositing, their chances of getting skin cancer is much higher. So it's not there in US. You will see it in the various kirana shops or grocery shops. Correct. So you need a proper prescription dermatologist. So the trend that is shifting from using the particular chemical sunscreen to the physical sunscreen. What I mean by physical sunscreen particularly. So you see the test match, cricket test match. So the test match that will run for an 8 hours of the day. So all the cricket players, they put up the particular sunscreen. It's like in zombies, correct? So all the faces, correct? So it's like white. So we call it as ghost effect particularly. So what they are having? So this physical sunscreen, which contains the particular zinc oxide, titanium dioxide particularly. So they're having issue of the chalkiness particularly and the ghost effect particularly. So we were developing particular product and we found that this chalkiness and the ghost effect, which is the biggest culprit by using the particular physical sunscreen in India particularly. So we were trying to get the particularly micronized, I'll not say micronized, but I'll say nanonized form of zinc oxide that can help it out to show some of the therapeutic effects. Like so, all the sunscreens, I think the ladies must know that they have some of the we have SPF 30, we have SPF 50. Now currently it is coming under the SPF 70 particular, correct? So it was already proved that zinc has some of the anti-reflecting properties particularly. So we have got one of the vendor which is called a company name called Antaria. So this is an Australia-based company. So we got some of the particularly samples from the particular company, and because whatever the initial zinc oxide, which is having the particle size of around 150 micron, so the company has made a ball milling to reduction of the particle size that is coming in between to 300 to 500 nanometer particle. So I think I showed the product to Pankaj sir also. So this product, when you apply, it's like a maska. Okay, when you use a smooth, glossy, but it doesn't show any white effect particularly. So we have done some of the physical sunscreen which contains the zinc oxide as a protective agent particularly, and we have done a variation inside it. It's almost, it is inside the 8 variations. It is not only important to protect you from the UVA, UVB rays, but now we are almost 2 hours in a day. We are in front of the our laptops or in front of our mobile phones. So there are lots of infrared rays coming, UV rays, blue rays that are coming. So there are so many actives available inside the market. particularly. There is a particular active called as, you can also search on the internet, called as Ectoin, ECTOI. Ectoin. It's a marine algae based product, but it's a German company. So they have done from last 20 years, they are doing some of the clinical studies, and they have proved this Ectoin in the range between 1% to 10%. They have the n numbers of properties. And it's not just only proved on research paper, there are some clinical studies. So we have product which is in simple and white tone for men's UV ray protection. Then we have the product particularly with the pink tint. Men likes the white color and ladies love the pink color. So we have a stint for the ladies, and then we have a UVA protection, UVB protection, infrared protection, then anti-pollution. Correct? We, because we travel outside the road, we know that particles PM.1, PM1, PM10. So all these particles will deposit onto your skin and they will cause the issue. So just simply a reduction of particle size that will help to develop this some of the great drug delivery system, not only inside the drugs but also in the cosmetic and personal care segment. So this particular product is doing great in market particularly, and in India I think it's selling. Zinc oxide, I'll tell you this. Anybody of you from your students, if you want to do some of the career in the entrepreneurship, I'll tell you this. In India, there's only two companies are selling micronized, I'll say nanonized zinc oxide. There's one company called Tata Chemicals, we are operating from Pune, and there is also called as Nuchem. It's a Thane-based company, particularly. There's only two companies. They are selling the micronized form of the zinc oxide, particularly, but they are not up to the mark of the global player, that is the Antarya. Because what is the issue? The zinc oxide, you have to disperse it something inside the solvent, correct? And that solvent selection, which is very crucial, because the process I told that is ball milling. So we have to take it the zinc. So it's come inside a goni particularly, and that has having the issue of dispersibility, because when you put the zinc oxide inside the water, it gets settled down particularly. So you need a sufficient sedimentation value and sufficient viscosity of the particular solvent. So I also tried some of the product from the Tata Chemicals and also the from Nuke particularly. But the issue of particularly the zinc oxide is having, because the solvent they have used is I think not up to the mark, because when we do some of the formulation trial, in next to 1 or 3 months it get discolored particularly. It's not acceptable by the consumer particularly. So you can also try some of the different solvents. I think if I'm not wrong, the Antarya company particularly, they are using the some of the liquid silicones, correct? That is the PDMS, polydimethyl siloxanes, correct, series particularly. So at your institute level, we can also do, because everyone have the ball milling equipment at the pharmaceutical laboratory. Everyone has some of the inorganic liquid solvents. So we can also try some of the products. So, but we have, I told you this Antarya is there, and there is another Japanese player, which is called a Daiichi Kasai, particularly this company. So I'll tell you the value addition. The initial zinc oxide, which is only 200 rupees kg, and by just simply reducing the particle size, currently my company is taking, that is at 2,800 rupees per kg. And volume projections, I told you, 50 metric ton per annum requirement of the current my company, previous company particularly. So there is a big another place like Sun Pharma. They are selling it to brand name of Suncross, correct, which is also the technology given by my company as well. So you can see, sir, there are so many products available inside our inorganic domain. So there is the issue of the dispersibility, issue of the reduction of particle size, that can be sold it out particularly. Yeah, thank you, sir.
There is one question from the Dhanashri Rawal. Dhanashri, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Can you explain the last part of this session?
Last part, okay. Yeah, see, there is a particular blockbuster molecule particularly. You want to ask for the zinc oxide story or this phenofabrit?
Fenofibrate.
Fenofibrate. Yeah. Initially, this drug molecule fenofibrate, which was an US-based product, particularly. So this particularly company has filed the patent for particularly new discoverable drug molecule, and they have launched the particular drug molecule in the strength of 200 mg capsule particularly. So they got a patent. So we all are aware that if we get a patent, so we have rights over the next 20 years, correct? So this particularly fenofibrate, which belongs to BCS class 2 molecule particularly, which is having a water solubility issue. So initially they got patent for 20 years, and it is about to finish. So the 18th year, they have filed another patent particularly. And it was disclosed to the world that the company has done the size reduction of the particular fenofibrate. So initially, when it was between 180 to 220 micron, the company has reduced down the particularly size to 120 to 140 micron. Just simply a 50 to 60 micrometer size down. They have proved in the clinical studies that the particularly 125 milligram of the dose, which is sufficient to lower the lipid lower particularly, blood lipid lowers particularly. So the because whatever the in India, the Patent Act 1970, we have particularly section called as section 3D. So the new form, new size, new polymorph, new salts of the drug that can be patented only if it can show the difference in therapeutic activity. Also, in case of the, I told you an example of the mannitol, correct? We have alpha, beta, gamma, delta forms. All three physical forms have different physicochemical properties. So this perlitol has got a patent particularly. Why they got a patent? So they just simply change the physical form, polymer form from alpha to beta. So alpha form, which is having the poor compressibility, poor flow, fluffiness, that is having issue at the compression stage particularly. A simply conversion of alpha form to beta form, which can solve the particularly the mentioned problems, they got a patent particularly. So whenever you do some of the change in the physical forms, it must show some of the advantages particularly. So the company in US, they proved by reducing 200 mg dose to 125 mg dose, which is a micronized form, we can use the lower drug content to show this of the therapeutic effect. Okay, so this was the, so they got 40 years of patent. So you can imagine the dominance in the market played by the company. Okay, yeah, I hope you cleared out the answer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone have a question? Please unmute yourself and ask question. Hello. You can ask your question, participants. Pankaj sir.
Go for some.
I think we can move ahead. Okay.
Yes.
So it was a nice session from you, sir, and very informative. Hello. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So it was a nice and very informative session, sir. So I'd like to share the vote of thanks. So first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Santosh Gejge, sir, for accepting our invitation and giving such a nice informative session to our student. I would like to also thank our management, and Professor Kanai sir, Executive Director, Principal Dr. RB Jadhav sir, Vice Principal, Admin, and co-convener of this webinar series, Professor H.J. Sajne sir, Chief Coordinator, Vice Principal, Academics, Rajesh Jagtap sir, all the faculty members, and our students. Okay, so it was a very nice informative session. So I will share here a certificate of appreciation from Anna Sahib Dange College of Pharmacy, Ashta. Is it visible, sir? Sir, it is visible to you?
Wait. I'm not saying this. Yeah.
Okay. So please accept it, sir. We will also send it from
Yeah,
the
thank you
mail.
so much. Yes.
We will also send it from mail, sir. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So
Respected,
I request all the participants to
Sanjay
please open your video. Please make it visible from the more options. All the participants, please make it visible so that we can take the photo. Nita Jadhav, Dhanashri Rawal, please make it visible. Ankita Ashtekar, Aarti, make it visible. Okay. So thank you, sir. So thank you everyone for being here. So with this, I announce that the session is over and we will again meet in the next webinar session. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.